China hosts a major international gathering. The Belt and Road Forum is about to get underway in Beijing. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Heads of state, government leaders and representatives from across the world are set to attend the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing. The massive Belt and Road Initiative combines land and maritime routes across Asia, Africa, on into Russia and Europe, and it's rapidly integrating trade and economic development. It means huge investment and improved prospects for countries like Pakistan, where the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is moving forward with projects such as the Gwadar Port. In Africa, it means delivering new trains and rail lines in countries like Kenya and dam construction in the Cote D'Ivoire. And Russia has a strategic agreement with China too, as it combines the Belt and Road project into its economic future. Some 60 projects worth over $90 billion that includes energy and infrastructure are already on tap. For a preview of the forum, we begin with correspondent Han Bin, who joins us now from Beijing. And Han Bin, this is a major gathering. Why is the forum taking place right now? And can you give us a sense of how many leaders, countries and delegates are present?
Well, the Belt and Road Forum is China's biggest international event of this year. 30 heads of state and government leaders will be gathering along with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. They include Russia's Vladimir Putin, Indonesia's Joko Widodo, and Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi. And there will be the UN Secretary General, as well as the heads of the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the Asian Development Bank, and more than 1,000 political and business leaders. The US will also be represented. The date was decided a long time ago. Last month there was the US-China Summit, and later this year there will be the BRICS Summit and China's Party Congress. President Xi has explained the initiative on various occasions, and this forum is to boost the concept's popularity and acceptance on the world stage.
Now, what is on the agenda and what are some of the main goals for the forum?
Well, the opening session is on Sunday, and President Xi will deliver a keynote speech. 6 theme sessions will be held in the afternoon to discuss different connectivities. The leaders' roundtables will be held on Monday with a press conference to release the outcome. It's been only 3 years since the initiative was first raised. Much of its work is still on the drawing board, and China hopes to distill the experience and to speed up its implementation to make some crucial achievements. China knows there's a lot of skepticisms and criticisms like the China threat or dumping overcapacity. The country wants to explain its thinking to the outside world. It's not just about signing the trade deals.
Thank you. That's CGTN's Han Bin reporting from Beijing. Okay, let's get to our panel. Joining me here in the studio is Zhou Jingxing. He is Political Minister Counselor and Chief of the Political Section for the Chinese Embassy here in the United States. Also with us from Beijing is Mustafa Sayed. He is the Executive Director of the Pakistan-China Institute. Joining us from Copenhagen is Babatunde Omilola. He is the Head of Development Planning at the United Nations Development Programme. And joining us from Johannesburg is Cobus Van Staden. He is a journalist and also Senior Lecturer at the Department of Media Studies with the University of Witwatersrand. Welcome to all of you to the show. Jingxing, let me start with you. This will be one of the most important international summits, the biggest Belt and Road event since China proposed the initiative in 2013. How significant is it and what will it accomplish?
The Belt and Road Initiative is very important in the sense I think that it answers 3 questions in today's world. The first one is that if you take a look at the globe, you find that the international economic growth has been in sluggishness for almost 10 years since the start of the financial crisis in 2007 and 2008. And so the world economy badly needs a driving force. And China designed this Belt and Road Initiative to give a driving force to the international economic development. And secondly, I think that if you take a look at the globalization as a trend, now there are people who are saying that globalization is not a good thing. Actually, we should reverse the trend of the globalization. But we believe that globalization is actually a good thing. It has always been the pursuit of humankind since the very start of our civilization. So nothing is wrong with the trend, but what is The problem is with our practices. We think that by bringing people together, we will be able to give further impetus to globalization and ensure that all people will benefit from globalization. And possibly the third objective of the Belt and Road Initiative is to ensure the Chinese economic development to grow at a quality and high speed. And this will also benefit the international economic development. So for that purpose, we believe that it is very important for us to have the forum over the coming weekend. And for three purposes. The first one is to have a review of the past 3 years and more, what we have achieved, and showcase to the rest of the world that the Belt and Road Initiative is really working. And secondly, we need to build further consensus on the Belt and Road Initiative, because to be very frank with you, there are misunderstandings, as even skepticism and suspicions about the purpose and the way of the Belt and Road Initiative. So we need to build further consensus to remove those obstacles to move ahead. And the third one is that we need to work out a map, a roadmap for the Belt and Road Initiative in the future. So I think that we need to we will have to wait and see what is going to come out of the forum.
As you say, part of the process this weekend will be about reviewing progress so far. If we look at the Belt and Road project so far and its impact in countries across the world, in Asia, in Europe, into Russia, in Africa, 65 countries, 4.4 billion people affected, that's well over half the world's population. How is it already transforming the international economic landscape?
If you take a look at the international community, especially the world economy again, then you find that East Asia has always been the dynamic region of the world, and Western Europe and Europe as a whole is also belongs to the developed world. But if you look at the vast extension of land between Europe and East Asia, and they see quite a few problems in there, like terrorism and also poverty. And then Africa may be the same thing. So the Belt and Road Initiative is going to try to fill in those development gaps in there. So I think in that sense, it is going to transform the economic landscape of the world. But again, there are people who are saying this is a geopolitical thing. But actually, at the very initiative, and I think so far, the Belt and Road Initiative is about social and economic development, and it is not about geopolitical politics.
All right, let's bring in Mustafa. He is in Beijing. Mustafa, let's look at the economic relationship between China and Pakistan. It continues to grow through the China-Pakistan economic corridor. There's some major projects underway, like the development of Gwadar Port. Give us a sense of how this project, the Belt and Road project, is transforming Pakistan and raising the standard of living for people in the region.
Anand, thank you very much for having me. And you ask a very timely question, because just this Monday I returned from Gwadar from a project inauguration of fisheries and project inauguration of a processing zone for manufacturing units in the special economic zone in Gwadar. So I'll tell you what I saw and what were my takeaways when I was in Gwadar. The fish processing zone, which is the first of its kind, is being invested by Chinese companies and will give the local fishermen, who are the actual original inhabitants of Gwadar, a lot of jobs as well as new technology and new boats, so they can go out and do fishing not only in the harbor and in the coast, but they can actually do deep sea fishing and sell the product, the produce, the fish, to the company, which can process it, add value to it, and then export it. So this is one major project which is happening in the center point of the One Belt, One Road initiative, and the locals are thrilled about this arrival of the company and what it will have in store for them, what it will bring to them, to their livelihoods, and to their next generations of fishermen. Because Gwadar, as you know, was just like Shenzhen, what Shenzhen was 30 years ago, and Gwadar is today. And the second project, Anand, which was inaugurated, was CPEC Emergency Clinic Center as well. And even though it's not the typical energy or infrastructure project, this is a very vital project for the local people, because originally, as of now, they have to travel long distances to find good and reasonable health care. So this is a funded project by Chinese SOEs, state-owned companies, as a goodwill to the people of Gwadar, because they are cooperating with the companies and helping them and facilitating them. And it is so advanced that after the inauguration I was having lunch and I saw a gentleman who was dressed as a pilot, and I asked him, "What are you doing here, sir?" And he said, "Actually, we plan to have a fleet of helicopters that people or fishermen or our workers who are very unwell and can't get treatment here, we are going to airlift them." So in a developing country, when you have things like that, that's really actually a game changer, and it boosts the morale of the local people and gives them a reality of something which they would probably have dreamt of earlier on. So there's actually work happening on the ground, which is not just good for both the countries and the region, but it is actually trickling down and having an impact on the people in Pakistan. And I'm very confident that the rest of the OBOR countries will experience the same formula of win-win development that President Xi Jinping has proposed.
Okay, let me go to Babatunde. Babatunde, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this week that the Belt and Road Initiative can be, quote, an important instrument in helping the United Nations meet its 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Explain that to us.
Yes, indeed. The Belt and Road Initiative can actually help us actualize the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them in total. The reason why this can happen is because the Belt and Road Initiative has the potential to actually cover about 68 countries, deal with 4.4 billion people around the world, and then contribute to the 40% of global GDP, which means if it is well implemented, it can boost infrastructure development around the world, it can help us eradicate poverty, it can also help us to actually get to the goal of inclusive and sustainable growth, which is Goal 8 of the Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030. So when the Secretary General mentions that, what he's trying to say basically is that we need global solidarity, we need collective responsibility, we also need to find a way to have global connectivity, because lack of infrastructural development has been one of the biggest impediments to global growth, and we have seen that. So what the Belt and Road Initiative can do for us will be how to connect the entire part of the world and then boost competitiveness, boost trade, lead to industrialization, particularly in the developing world. Take, for instance, in Africa. Africa has the deficit of about $93 billion in terms of infrastructure financing. Through this Belt and Road Initiative, we can possibly get to a way of boosting infrastructural development on the continent of Africa, thereby helping to connect so many people. The other thing that this initiative has potential to do for the people around the world is that it can help look at the totality of Agenda 2030, in a way that, when you look at Agenda 2030, the SDGs, the 17 of them, you look at Goal 17, which is about how to look for the means of implementation in terms of partnerships. So I think if we have a very good road map in terms of how to get there, this particular initiative can help us create that platform in a way that different stakeholders can come on board and look at how to support massive infrastructure development around the world, thereby lifting so many people out of poverty.
Okay, Cobus Van Staden, we're just a few years into this Belt and Road Initiative, and we're already seeing the enormous impact it's having and potential, of course, in the countries of Africa. Dozens of projects worth billions of dollars, building railway lines, ports, airports, roads. How is it transforming the continent, and what do you believe it can achieve in the long term?
One of the most important parts of this whole development is the way that it is integrating different parts within Africa. One of the most damaging legacies of European colonialism in Africa was that none of the systems between the different countries connect. So roads, train systems, and so on, nothing's really connecting. The Belt and Road development in East Africa has particularly kind of included integrated regional rail systems, which is helping to connect different landlocked African countries to the coast. So it's having regional development implications that is going to have much wider ranging effect than simply increasing Chinese influence in the country. It is increasing the interaction between different African countries, and then also increasing the interaction between Africa and other regional centers, including the Middle East and also India.
Jingxing, we're talking about these projects here. These are nuts and bolts projects, bricks and mortar projects. But if we could look, if I could put it this way, at the philosophical underpinning of this Belt and Road Initiative, the two words we often hear, key elements, if I could put it that way, consultation, cooperation. So the question is, how important is the Belt and Road Initiative as a model for economic international cooperation, for developing, I guess, a fair relationship between countries in the world?
The Belt and Road Initiative is based on three principles. One is the extensive consultation. The second is joint dedication or joint contribution. And third one is joint benefits, shared benefits. That means that we believe that this is a world that all the countries should benefit from the international economic development, not only China, not only the United States or any other country in the world. Actually, this is a world that should be the destiny of a community of shared destiny. And that is why we believe that by proposing the Belt and Road Initiative, we are going to be able to promote the ideas of connectivity. Connectivity not only in infrastructure, but also in human ideas, in the ways of thinking, and also in the coordination of policies, and also in coordination of the policy practices. By that, we will be able to move one step further toward globalization that will benefit all people in the world.